Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bacon. Also, welcome back to the Cinderella phenomenon. We are right in the middle of Chapter 6, Rod's Route. It has been days since Parfait and Delora revealed my mother's true identity and the inevitable responsibility I am to have on my shoulders once I turn 18. I have been trying to ask the king about Mother, but he is even busier these days than he was before, and it is impossible to find a single moment in the day to speak with him. The fact that I'm a maid makes it even harder to garner his attention. When I'm not on break, I continue to do my duties serving Emmeline. Right now I am accompanying her as she practices her walk and posture. Ophelia has been helping her, pointing out any mistakes she finds. I know how hard this is, dear. I had to go through this training as well before I married the king. Emmeline allows her shoulders to slouch as she lets out an exasperated sigh. I've always hated these lessons. I thought my posture was fine. This is supposed to refine it, and yet all these lessons I've been doing is hurting my back. Oh, Emmeline, you'll get the hang of this. You just need to keep practicing. But Mother, I've had the same lesson before. Why must I do it again? Because you slouch when you walk, and that is unbecoming of a princess. Emmeline scowls at her mother, and Ophelia's frown falls away as she bursts into laughter. Mother, you're not helping. The atmosphere in the room is far too heavy as Emmeline and her mother continue to conduct their lessons. It is almost the exact opposite of the lessons I had with Mother. Mother always got angry when I made even the smallest mistakes. I know this is hard, but as the crown princess, all eyes will be on you during the ball. The people there will judge any small mistake you make, which is why you need to be in top form on that night. I know. Ophelia claps her hands. All right, now to start again. Emmeline groans before heading to the far wall and straightening her back. She takes a deep breath, puts a book on her head, and begins to walk again. The book falls from her head on the third step. She sighs, moves back, and starts the process again. Neither of us break Emmeline's concentration by speaking. We stand idly by and watch as she tries time and time again. I am surprised when Ophelia leans towards me and begins to whisper. Lucette, I've been meaning to say this before, but I am grateful that you are friends with my daughter. I look at Ophelia's smiling face with surprise. I never agreed to be her friend. You are not against the princess making friends with her servants? Why would I be? I actually wish more of the staff here wouldn't be so uptight, since I would love for Emmeline to be on good terms with the people who serve her. Besides, social status is never an obstacle to friendship. Ophelia shifts her gaze back to Emmeline, who is now picking up the book that has once again fallen from her head. No matter your occupation or status, a friend is always a friend. We've given Emmeline the courage she needs to face the many challenges she has ahead of her. In a way, you're like family, since you're always around us. Like family. Come what may, both family and friends are there for you and will accept you for who you are. Even before I was cursed, Emmeline was always trying to be my friend. That means she knew all along who my mother was and still wanted to be my friend. The thought makes me remember what Parfait told me about Mother threatening to kill Ophelia if the king did not marry her. I turned to Ophelia, curious. Your Majesty, may I ask what you know about the late Queen's rule? Ophelia looks at me quizzically, so I quickly add a thoughtless lie. I was not an Angel and have only heard stories. I just thought it was so hard to believe, what with how peaceful things are in the palace right now. The kingdom was a dark place back then. People lived in fear under her rule. The king had no real power over Angel. The witches had free reign over the kingdom. They cast the fairy tale curse incessantly and on a whim. We barely left our houses in fear of becoming cursed. Mother's reign was that terrible? The king still blames himself for the darkness that befell Angel during that time. This is why he works day in and out to stabilize the country and to put smiles on everyone's faces. I remember long ago how he told me one of the reasons he would always continue to work hard for this kingdom was because he wanted to make a brighter tomorrow for his children. Ophelia looks confused for a few moments, then brushes off the awkwardness with a small chuckle. He helps the family in his own way. Is it possible that he said that with me in mind and Ophelia's slip-up? But then maybe he was always referring to Emmeline and Rod. The kingdom's come a long way since then, hasn't it? There are still witches here and there, but most of them don't bother us. I pray that the peace we're experiencing right now will last. I see. Thank you for telling me. It is a bit of a dreary topic, but I'm happy to have helped. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to call on me. I know it may not be traditional protocol for a queen, but then I do not consider myself a typical queen. I try my best to listen to everyone here, regardless of what their title or name might be. I can only nod at her in response. Princess or maid, the way Ophelia has treated me has never changed. She has always treated me with kindness, regardless of who I am. I never saw it before because I was always so distant from everyone. But now I see that Ophelia treats everyone here with kindness, regardless of social status. I was always frustrated by the servants when they compared Ophelia to Mother, saying she was superior. But now, I think I understand why they would make such comparisons. Emmeline dismisses me after my lessons, and I begin to head immediately back to my room. I have just turned a corner when I notice Sir Alcaster standing before me, scowling. Watch where you're going, child. I quickly avert my gaze, not wanting a confrontation. He always looks at me so strangely, almost like he can see into my mind, or is trying to. He's a jerk. He killed my baby. My apologies, Sir Alcaster. Sir Alcaster nods his head at me stiffly before walking off. You're pardoned, princess. Oh, I mean, I already knew that he knows, but I'm still gonna pretend like I'm surprised anyway. I turn to stare after him, but he's already turned the corner. My blood becomes cold. Was that just a slip of the tongue? But how else could he know that I'm a princess? Is it possible that he is cursed? No, somehow that does not seem right. But if he does not have the fairy tale curse, could it be the witch that Delora warned me about? What reason would he have for unveiling his identity then? Unless he just wants to intimidate me further. That was probably the reason why, was to intimidate you. Oh, and I guess I didn't leave any kind of commentary about that last interaction. With how Emmeline had always tried to be Lucette's friend and everything. Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's already been established she's a little too pushy, always constantly going past people's boundaries as their maid, which isn't necessarily the best sort of behavior. It was cute, but she was trying to be friends with Lucette on Emmeline's terms, not Lucette's terms. I kind of feel like if they actually had to sit down and talk, which Lucette probably would have agreed to, actually, if Emmeline had asked her politely, they could have come to some sort of understanding civilly, and then from there might have been able to build something. But again, it can't just be on one person's terms, or if there's one party that is clearly fighting against it, just wants nothing to do with it. It needs to be on their terms if you want to have any sort of relationship with them. It can't be what you want, what you decide. Everyone else, the father, Ophelia, Emmeline, trying to force these things onto Lucette was not the way to go. So as much as I think Emmeline is really cute, and I feel like I could be friends with her in real life for certain. I mean, she's like golden retriever girlfriend. I still feel like, yeah, I can see why Lucette would be regretting it now, because they could have had a pretty decent relationship, but I also still agree that Lucette had every right to push her away, and especially for how Emmeline was going about it. And that's just my 2 cents there. It occurs to me that Fritz still remembers who I am. Did he tell his father about me? Now I am even more confused about whom I should trust. Lucette? I jump when I hear Rod call me. His expression slowly creases with something that looks like worry. You're pale. Did something happen? Would he believe me if I told him? Oh, he's all concerned. Cute. I'm gonna go with tell him. Sir Alcaster knows I am the princess. Do you think he is the witch Laura was talking about? I whisper the words to him, and he responds by raising his eyebrows, looking surprised. What makes you say that? This isn't just because of the standoffish way he acts, is it? You don't believe me? Rod sighs. I never said that I didn't. It's just that we can't just blindly accuse anyone without any real proof. Rod stares at me for a few moments, then closes his eyes, his eyebrows slightly furrowed with thought. Sir Fitzgerald also remembers who you are. I do not want to be so suspicious of Fritz, but I don't think blindly trusting him would be right either, given these circumstances. You need to stay vigilant around him. If anything happens, you can come talk to me about it. Oh, Kenji, that's cute. You're worried about me? Rod averts his gaze from me. Of course I am. Oh, and that was the right decision. I figured. I just didn't see a reason why she wouldn't tell him, to be absolutely honest, especially because of all the dangerous stuff that's going on. Like, this isn't Karma's route where she was trying to do everything on her own. This is Rod's route where she's actually being a lot more cautious, it feels like. So I just figured she would definitely tell him. Of course I am. Wow, you're actually being honest. SEBBIE! What? Rod glares at SEBBIE before pinching his cheek. Anyway, I must leave now. I have a dance to practice for. Dance? But you already know how to dance. What do you have left to practice? Rod does not answer and only walks away. I decide to follow after him. Why did you follow me? I shrug. I wanted to see you practice. To be honest, I want to see him dance. I already know that Emmeline is very clumsy when it comes to dancing, but outside of the one practice with Emmeline, I have never seen Rod dance. Emmeline always gloats on his behalf, but I have yet to witness Rod's supposed talent with my own eyes. Our dance together was so short I barely had any time to judge him. I do not practice with an audience. Why? It is my preference. Rod is easily embarrassed. SEBBIE! Rod groans and pinches one of SEBBIE's cheeks, glowering. Sorry. Rod reluctantly releases the bunny with a sigh. I notice you have been talking more lately, SEBBIE. Oh, that's because Rod here has been saying things that contradict what he thinks or feels. SEBBIE makes a sound of defeat as Rod once again pinches one of his cheeks. Rod stares at me with wide eyes and I stare back, beginning to panic. What's wrong? You smiled again. I put a hand to my mouth, flushing. I was smiling again? I never even noticed. It was cute! It was a pretty smile, princess, right, Rod? SEBBIE! Rod quickly turns away, cheeks slightly pink. I need to practice now, so I'd appreciate you leaving. You did not even command me to leave. What a surprise. Emmeline said you were a really good dancer. I want to see it with my own eyes. Why? So you can judge me? Oh, man. Okay, that one seems really, really mean. I'm sure that I'm a better dancer than you. So I'm guessing this one. Why else would you be so keen on watching me? I am mostly curious. Curious? I wanted to know how good you really were. Then yes, you are judging me. I hold up my hand and he stares, looking taken aback. I should not be scolded for only being curious. Why not just one little dance to prove how talented you are? Rod stares at me. Oh, she's being sassy. Rod stares at me for a few minutes before reluctantly taking my hand. Fine. You better not step on my feet. Rod starts leading the dance. He glides us into the imaginary rhythm of a waltz. Even without the music, I am able to count the steps in my head as I follow his lead. This is different from that short dance we showed Emmeline. Rod's movements are graceful, his touch gentle as he leads me to an underarm twirl. Hello. When I come to face him once again, I notice the gentle way he stares at me. The usual hardness of his expression is gone, melted into something relaxed. Hello. I find myself staring back at him, looking into his eyes. Perhaps Rod does have some gentleness to him. Our gazes do not break as he twirls me. I find myself staring back at him, looking into his eyes. Perhaps Rod does have some gentleness to him. Our gaze does not break as he twirls me. How does your gaze not break when you twirl? Because that literally is... You don't have a choice. Your gaze would break. I guess like it just like looked away for half a second and came back and they were just immediately back on each other again. You have beautiful eyes. Oh dear, flip. Rod's eyes widen as soon as mine do. He abruptly lets go of my hands and steps back. I can only stare at him, my face warm. Oh, he let it slip! It wasn't me this time! SEBBIE! That was more than just a thought, I swear. SEBBIE! Rod says nothing, though his cheeks continue to darken with embarrassment. Oh my. Rod and I turn to look at Emmeline, who is hovering by the door. You guys got caught? Excuse me. Rod quickly walks through the doorway and out into the hall, leaving Emmeline and I alone in the room. What just happened? That was a wonderful dance, Lucette. You were watching? I only just saw the last few minutes, but you know, the two of you really did look like a couple. It was sweet. Emmeline! A couple? Between you and SEBBIE, we're all gonna die. Oh, you're blushing. I put a hand to my cheek and turn away with a scowl. I am not. Besides, whatever just happened was embarrassing. Do you like Rod? I stare at her. I do not. Also, you are forgetting that I am a maid who could not be with the prince even if I wanted to. He is grumpy and cold. And even though we are not blood related, he is still my stepbrother. If only Emmeline realized how crazy her words were in light of the truth. Emmeline suddenly looks starry-eyed as she giggles at me. Love knows no boundaries, dear Lucette. Besides, he seems to like you. Your brother hates me. Rod can be a contradiction sometimes, as proven by SEBBIE. Multiple times. Sometimes he says the opposite of what he feels. It's only when you get to know him as well as I do that you realize what his truths are. And when SEBBIE decides to step in and tell everybody. I cannot help but think of SEBBIE, who always speaks Rod's thoughts aloud when they are contradictory. He was always so mean to Viorica when we were young. He would always bully her for being a crybaby, even though he cried far more often. But then I realized that he treated her more special than he did anyone else. Back then, I knew that he liked her. I thought that one day the two of them might even grow to love each other, but Emily lets out a long sigh as she directs her attention out the window. Oh wait, I just realized something. I didn't get a... Did I get a crystal? I don't think I got a crystal. Hold up. Hold up. I don't think I got a crystal. Okay, I chose that one last time, and I'm fairly freaking certain I didn't get a crystal. This one just seems really nasty. I'm sure that I'm a better dancer than you. But then again, she was being kind of competitive during this one, so let's try it. The scowl on Rod's face deepens. I almost smirk. Maybe he's reluctant to show me, but Rod is also full of pride. He is more likely to show me if I pose a challenge. You didn't even answer the question. And are you underestimating my dancing? I am the dancing king, I will have you know. The others may have forgotten, but you still remember, do you not? I am a princess and was taught by the kingdom's best instructor. I say the words with pride and I notice Rod's lip twitch and I say the words with pride and I notice Rod's lips twitch in response. It actually makes me feel accomplished to get under Rod's skin when he is usually the one getting under mine. Having the best instructor does not automatically make you the best dancer. I am pretty confident with my own skills. Say what you want, but I will refuse to believe you without any proof. I still say I am a better dancer than you are. You are using some kind of reverse psychology, girl. There we go. Oh, that could have been bad. Rod steps forward and pulls me suddenly into his arms, taking me by surprise. He looks at me, clearly determined. Oh, he's taking the upper hand, is he? Fine then. You'll have your proof. I'll make you swallow those words with this dance. We shall see. Rod starts leading the dance. He glides us into the imaginary rhythm of a waltz. Okay, so now we can kind of keep going. It's a pretty picture. Let's see. And we weren't at a decision, so I don't want to just skip. Darn me! I should have noticed sooner, but sometimes it takes a hot minute for those crystals to show up. Oh wait, where was I? Okay, here we go. Emily lets out a long sigh as she directs her attention out the window. His attitude toward her has changed ever since he was cursed. Then they grew even more distant when Viorica found a lover. Is that the reason why you have been going to the toy shop with Prince Rod? Because you want to bring them back together? Emily nods. The three of us were best friends, the Three Musketeers. It's not the same without Rod. I keep on asking him what's wrong, but he refuses to tell me. He's always been stubborn, but it's not like him to keep secrets. It's really frustrating because I have no idea what I should do to help him. I thought he was just being stubborn with me, but apparently no amount of prodding, even from his own family, will make him budge. Why is he being so difficult? I hope you do not mind me asking, but what do you know about his curse? Emmeline stares at me for a few moments before nodding. You're my friend, Lucette, and I know that I can confide in you. I know that sometimes I am not trusting enough, but I think Emmeline is still far too trusting. We only know that he has the mermaid's curse. I read the story so many times hoping that I could figure out some way to break his curse. I think back and realized that I had actually read the beginning of The Little Mermaid a long time ago, but I did not have the chance to finish it because I was caught by Mother. The Little Mermaid is about a mermaid who trades her voice for legs, right? Yes, she does it so she can be with her prince. Rod's voice was taken away, but I'm sure that he was given something in exchange. I've heard that the curses are derived from the original tales, but that they are twisted in some way to fit the format of a curse. I nod slowly, thoughtful. I have a strong feeling that Rod's curse is related to Viorica, but I cannot draw the connection. But still, Viorica might be the key to understanding his curse. Okay, so if they used to crush on each other, and around the same time, or no, it was said that like Viorica got the lover, and then he got cursed. So I'm wondering if that doesn't have something to do with it, as in like the Little Mermaid. You know, there was in the original tale loses her voice, but then the prince comes across somebody else and chooses them instead of the Little Mermaid, and then the Little Mermaid is told to kill the either, I don't remember if it was the prince or the prince's new lover, and I think it's the prince. Yeah, it was the prince. Stab the prince and then you can come back. And like her sisters had all sold their hair to get her a knife. And so I imagine the way that he can cure his curse is to kill Viorica. And that's why he doesn't want to do it. But how or why that came to be about in the first place, maybe like a witch happened to see things and was like, perfect. But then what would he have gotten in exchange? And that also indicates that they think that he purposely went to a witch, possibly, to do this. Maybe he got something to get Viorica to possibly love him again? I'm not sure how to feel about that one, if that's the case. I guess we'll find out, but that's just my take on it right now. That's going to be my guess, is that he's supposed to kill Viorica, and that it was when Viorica found someone else, he did something to try and win her back. That's what I think. Okay. If Rod will not divulge anything, the next best chance we have of understanding his curse might be going through Viorica. Alright, I'm going to end things right there. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon, and this so far has been the Cinderella phenomenon. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that lovely stuff. And I will see you guys next time. And oh, be sure to tell me what route you'd like me to do next. I don't really want to do Rumples, but I'm willing to if people request it. And I was told by a friend that apparently you only have to complete 2 of these routes to unlock the other 2. So after this, Fritz and Waltz will also be available. So it's between Fritz, Waltz, and Rumple. So let me know which one you'd like me to do next after Rods. Thank you. Bye-bye.